To remain masters of the sky, the U.S. Air Force plays a war game called Red Flag. The mission? To destroy an enemy airfield. But first, it's an old-fashioned dogfight as the Air Force tries to rid the skies of enemy MiGs. Next, U.S. F-15 fighter pilots must destroy anti-aircraft positions protecting the airstrip. Then, and only then, can the fearsome B-52 and B-1 bombers move in to obliterate the enemy airfield. That's the game. But here's the kicker. When an enemy plane is shot down, he's not out of the game. He's just sent to the penalty box before he comes roaring back to life.
My heart just started beating really fast, the way it did the first time I went into combat.
With two aircraft that are similarly matched, the guy that's a better pilot's going to win. We're trying to make it so they can survive the first 10 combat missions.
It was one of the painful lessons learned in Vietnam. Most of the American pilots shot down had flown fewer than 10 missions. The Air Force knew they had to do something, and they did. They created a war game so realistic that American pilots would experience the equivalent of those first 10 missions without risking their lives. It's a game called Red Flag.
I'm here on the tarmac at Nellis Air Force Base just outside of Las Vegas, and we're ready for the start of Red Flag. Now, the goal of this game is simple. Get in there and take out the enemy's airfield. But the execution is not so easy.
These are the good guys, 6 combat rookies, codename Blue Air. They must do battle with 4 hardened veterans flying the enemy jets. The bad guys, codename Red Air. Here's the mission. Eliminate the bad guys so a second wave of Blue Air jets can get close enough to bomb the enemy's anti-aircraft positions and take out their command and communications bunker, all in under 30 minutes. That's the job of Captains Mary Melfi and Dan Rauch. It may be the most dangerous job in Red Flag. Melfi and Rauch must attack an enemy who already knows they're coming. O-600. There's an eerie stillness on the tarmac of Nellis Air Force Base. Fighter pilots suit up for action.
Captain Dan Rauch with the 391st Bold Tigers from Mountain Home Air Force Base.
I'm Captain Mary Lorraine Melfi. I'm an F-15E Wizzo. My primary job is to get those bombs on target.
He flies the plane, she drops the bombs.
When I was a young girl, I lived near an airport. I grew up in Long Island, New York, and I used to have airplanes flying over my house. So from that point forward, I'd always known that I wanted to be a part of that. A guy that thinks that women don't belong in the military really doesn't know a whole lot about the military and how it works these days. Women can do anything that men can do. As long as you're determined and dedicated to a specific goal, you can do it. I absolutely love my job. Every time I get to go fly, I get really happy because I really love what I do.
As pilot and weapons systems operator, Rauch and Melfi work as a team to plan their mission.
Steer point number 5, there are 2 offsets in the hold that we can use to keep our system tight. The way we brief at a Red Flag mission is as if you were in combat. You are in that mindset from the time you plan up that mission through the time you finish the mission and debrief.
And the target area is just past the wash, bordering just east of a north-south road here. And the target kind of looks like dice. Number 1 is hitting the center. Number 2 is hitting the leftmost target. What I'm going to do is hold my release until you've released, so I'm not dropping bombs in there.
You can see the enemy planes are right behind me. They're getting set to take off, too. They're painted in enemy colors, and they've been trained to fly like the enemy.
We use the Russian Air Force as a baseline because even today, after the fall of communism, a lot of client states or foreign client states are flying those old Russian aircraft.
These are the bad guys, battle-tested American pilots whose job it is to give the rookies the fight of their lives, the kind of fight they can't get from a computer game or textbook.
Captain Malcolm X Kemeny, assigned to the Aggressor Squadron at Red Flag here at Nellis Air Force Base. Our role during this exercise is a professional bad guys and adversary tactics instructor pilot.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Craig Underhill, Operations Officer for the United States Air Force Aggressors. My job here at Red Flag is to provide realistic blue training that someday may save their life in a war. We either exploit their mistakes or we die like we're supposed to.
This mission's going to feel as real to combat, if not more so, than you could probably imagine.
The Red Air Aggressors are airborne.
This is our team's F-15, and that's the ground crew working on it because it's taken off momentarily. Each one of these guys has a specific task, and each one of these guys is just as important as the two people going up in it.
Melfi and Rauch do their flight checks as the first wave of their Blue Air Squadron takes off. Red Flag has begun.
The F-15Cs, they fly above us and in front of us and try to kill all the bandits before we get there so we don't have to deal with them.
You do your pre-flight, you walk around, you can hear some jets taking off in the background, hear them kick it into afterburner, and then it's your turn to get in the jet. It's your turn to start your engines.
We're gonna go up there, we're gonna kick front. Gunfighter front.
In a minute, it goes from silence to loud jet noise, and that noise right there motivates you like nobody's business.
The best comparison to a fighter-type airplane might be a roller coaster going down that first big hill. It's really a kick in the pants. You get shoved back in the seat, and you can feel the jet rumbling as the afterburners light up. Then you can just see the airport disappear behind you if you look back.
As Rauch and Melfi make their ascent, Blue Air and Red Air jets are already battling it out in the sky. Captain Bill McCaw flies point for Blue Air. In Red Flag, lasers are used to rack up kills. It's like a flying game of laser tag.
A dogfight is really like a knife fight in a telephone booth. You can see the other airplane. At times, you can see the other pilot. You have to continually monitor the other aircraft. You have to counter all the inputs one pilot makes, always trying to achieve a position of advantage behind the other airplane. You're doing all this, weighing probably 600-700 pounds with the G-forces you have there. 5 miles. So it slows down your movements in the cockpit, but it can't slow down what you're doing in the airplane.
Captain McCaw locks his laser onto the enemy jet. Ready, aim, fire. It's a direct hit. Looks like the enemy's been taken out. But in this game, as in real war, the good guys never really know exactly how many planes are in the enemy Air Force. So Lieutenant Colonel Underhill will be back.
Once we as aggressors die, we descend back down, we pretend like we're taking off again, and we come alive for more Blue Air training, and we attack the threat again.
Blue Air successfully shoots down all 3 remaining enemy fighters. Believing the way has been cleared, Melfi and Rauch speed toward their targets. McCaw and the rest of Blue Air's first wave turn around to head home.
There's an absolute rush knowing that the air-to-air players did their mission, did their role, and now it's like they're saying, okay, here, we've cleared the area for you. It's your turn to go in and blow up that target.
Captains Melfi and Rauch begin their descent. They drop to 500 feet. They must dodge anti-aircraft guns and bomb their target, the enemy's command bunker.
The objective for us is to blow up a bunker, to put a bomb right through the middle of the bunker. weapons system officer is looking at the target in our targeting pod, trying to find it, making absolutely sure we were on the right bunker that our bomb's supposed to hit. At that same time, I'm looking around, making sure there's not one of the MiGs trying to roll in and kill us.
Sure enough, just as Melfi and Rauch move into position, the bad guys are back again. An enemy jet streaks in to engage them on a collision course. That's Lieutenant Colonel Underhill, and he's closing fast on Melfi and Rauch.
When you're flying, you'll happen to get into a dogfight, and you wind up pulling G's, and you do get all scrunched up, but you have to strain against it in order to make sure you don't black out.
It's a race. Melfi and Rauch are speeding to their target, but with an enemy MiG on their tail, they could be blown out of the sky before they have a chance to finish the job.
I'm doing the weapon delivery role from the air-to-ground standpoint. Dan's trying to do the offensive air-to-air role and the defensive looking out for surface-to-air missile role.
Adjusting 15 to 25.
The enemy plane fires. The good guys evade.
What's your ETA, Hansie?
But the Red Air pilot is good.
I can't shake him.
And is getting ready to try again. Melfi and Rauch can't get behind him to return fire. The bandit sets his sights on them again and closes in. In just a few seconds, he'll be in position for the kill. If somebody doesn't do something fast, it looks like Melfi and Rauch will have met their match.
Captains Melfi and Rauch appear to be just seconds away from defeat. Is there any way to pull out a victory? We'll find out when we come back.
Also ahead, suspense at sea when a wolf hunt team runs into bad luck.
Come on, baby. Work with us.
And later, there are snipers in those hills, and it's up to these brave Marines to drive them out.
If Red Flag were a championship football game, the U.S. Air Force would be down by 2 touchdowns late in the 4th quarter. Right now, Captains Rauch and Melfi have an enemy MiG on their tail. Can they take out their prime target before the MiG takes them out?
Captains Melfi and Rauch of Blue Air are struggling to shake the enemy MiG off their tail. It's Lieutenant Colonel Underhill, determined to teach these combat rookies a valuable lesson. Captain Rauch expertly releases chaff, a fiery diversion that confuses the enemy's laser tracking system.
When the radar pilot's attacking me, I take it very personally. Makes me quite mad, in fact, when I know somebody is trying to shoot me down. So I'm going to try to shoot them before they shoot me.
Closing in. Enemy defenses have a target over there. Void surface to air. 10 o'clock.
Despite Captain Rauch's maneuvers, the enemy jet is still right there and nearly in position to fire.
I can't shake him.
Rauch and Melfi send out a call for help. Suddenly, a third dog jumps into the fight. It's Captain Bill McCaw, another Blue Air fighter pilot who was returning to base when he heard the distress call. Now it's a quick draw contest.
I'm tracking. He's in my sight.
McCaw shoots first. The Red Air jet bites the dust.
15 to 25. Thanks for the save, McCaw. I owe you one.
That was a close call, but now Melfi and Rauch have a new problem. The dogfight has left them desperately short of fuel. Another setback, and they may not have enough to get back to base. They have one shot, and one shot only, to complete their mission and take out the enemy's heavily fortified command and communication center. And it's not much bigger than a trailer.
2 minutes to bombs away. Take it down.
You start that combat descent down to 500 feet, and you just your blood starts pumping. There's an absolute rush. This is the meat of the mission. This is what you've been training for, to go drop your weapons and to blow up that target, blow it up to smithereens.
If they miss their target, the mission is a failure. Captain Melfi takes her best shot.
Bombs away. Hard right. Take it down.
Bullseye. When I dropped the bomb, I felt it come off the jet. There was a audible thunk of the jet shimmied a little bit as the bomb comes off the jet. It happens every time. It's a good feeling.
It's a totally awesome feeling, watching your crosshairs on your scope and seeing your bomb come in through your field of view now and shack your target. It's a great feeling. You are overcome with a feeling of accomplishment, that you've done what you needed to do to protect Americans.
We went in there, we accomplished our mission. We put the bomb right through the middle of the bunker, and then we egressed out as fast as we could.
Now that the enemy's command center and anti-aircraft weapons are destroyed, Blue Air's fearsome B-1 and B-52 bombers swoop in to blast the enemy's runway. For Blue Air, victory. Total, unqualified victory. Lieutenant Colonel Underhill and the rest of the Red Air team take their loss in stride.
Our job is to train Blue Air. So what we do is provide them a realistic threat.
We're trying to make it so they can survive the first 10 combat missions and have that confidence and experience to make it through an actual combat situation.
Outstanding mission. We went out there. Everything went according to plan. Bombs on target, as per the goal, and 100% hits.
Get her, Jeff. All came back alive.
Mission complete.
Well, that's it for Red Flag. It's time to send it back to the studio.
As we saw in the Gulf War, it's air superiority that wins the day. And virtually every single Air Force fighter pilot who flew combat missions in Desert Storm flew in Red Flag first.